time for recent reads number. I've got no idea. Stay tuned to find out what I read. Alright guys, welcome back to my channel. I'm Zach with Zacks Books, and today I've got for you a recent reads. And behind me you can hear Bailey chewing on a bone, so I will try and talk over that so you don't hear that. So this is recent reads number something, I don't know, there's been a couple of them and I'm kind of starting to lose track, so I don't think we're going to number these from now on. I think we're just going to say it's a recent reads video, so there you have it. So yes. So these are 4 books that I've read recently that I'm very excited to share with you and talk about them with you, obviously without spoilers, of course. Some of these were pretty solid. A couple of them were kind of like meh, but yeah, let's get this thing started. All right, so this first stack of 4 that I'm going to go over, we will be having another set of 4, possibly 5 coming out later, another week or so, don't know. But the first one I'm going to talk about is the one that actually I read that was my most favorite. And it's another Ania Ahlborn, and that is Seed. So I know I just did a Grady Hendrix kind of like analysis video, no, a ranking video where I ranked the 5 books I've read by him so far. If you have not seen that video, check it out up here. Very exciting stuff. I am intending to do one for Ania Ahlborn. However, I think I need to read one more to get to 5. I don't remember. But I would like to try and read as many as I can before I get to the rankings so I can have as much to go off of as I can. So this one is about a guy named Jack Winter who is driving one day and family gets in this accident and he sees this weird, like, creature strolling off into the woods, and what happens is you kind of realize that Jack himself had the same issue when he was younger. He's got a daughter and a wife, and the daughter kind of keeps mentioning like, yeah, this person like doesn't like you, and she starts like seeing apparitions of this creature, and you find out that Jack had the same issue when he was younger. And what ends up happening is when he was younger, his family got murdered. His mother and his father got murdered. He ran off, and everyone was assuming it was him. He did it, and you never really find out if that's the case or not. But the ending of this book has got such a really nice twist. It makes it blatantly obvious what happened back then, and it is phenomenal. I absolutely loved this ending. I love the story. Obviously it was really upsetting when something did happen towards the end because you didn't really expect it to happen. But in typical Ania Ahlborn fashion, which is really nice, it did happen, and I was all for it, actually. So, very exciting. I ended up giving this, I think, 4 stars or something like that. Very good book. There you have Seed by Ania Ahlborn. Alright, the next book I'm going to talk about is, I feel like it could possibly be one of the bigger disappointments of the year so far. I don't know what it is with classics. It's really hit or miss. It's not like I've got like a trend of like, they're kind of average, you know? It's like The Exorcist, the Amityville Horror, 5 stars. The Haunting of Hill House, I did not like it. And unfortunately, I Am Legend is in the same category. It just didn't click for me. I really didn't enjoy it. I don't know if it's because I was like expecting too much because of the movie that came out with Will Smith. Obviously, the book and movie were different. I kind of just started losing track of what was happening towards the end. And I know the movie ending, I don't know if I could spoil that because it's a movie, but the movie ending seems a lot different, but it's very, this is what happens. But, like, in this, I don't know. The last line is, I am legend. And, it makes it sound like, is Neville still alive? Or is he dead? What happened? I just didn't, I don't know. I couldn't follow the last maybe 3/4 of the story. And a lot of things were going on. There were some good action scenes. There were some good scenes in general. Him and the other like vampire creature kind of mocking each other all the time I thought was pretty cool and very fun. But the last little bit of it just kind of strolled off, and I just didn't, I didn't know where it was going. So, unfortunately, this book for me ended up getting 2 stars. I just didn't work for me. So, I don't know. Maybe like Haunting a Hill House, if I reread it in a few years, maybe it'll be a little better. But as of right now, this book got 2 stars for me. I Am Legend by Richard Matheson. All right, the next book I'm going to talk about is actually the second highest rated book in this video, and that is The Final Girl Support Group by Grady Hendrix. Yes, that was a bookmark that flew out of there. I'm sorry. I ended up giving this 3.5 stars. The more I've kind of sat and pondered it, I wouldn't go all the way in saying it's a 4-star, but it could be if I wanted it to be. This is about a woman named Lynette who is part of this Final Girl kind of like support group, obviously the name of the book. And how it is this group of like final girls who like live their, to talk about their experiences of being a final girl and everything like that. What ends up, you kind of find out that Lynette actually technically isn't like a final girl, because that's what they keep, one of the girls keeps bringing it up, like, you're not even like one of us, because like you didn't like fight back and get the killer. She like, you find out she actually got like stuck on like antlers and like just kind of hung there, and the police came in and took care of the job, and so they kind of technically still listed, she kind of considered herself of a final girl, but you find out technically wasn't, but whatever. What ends up happening is a group of a couple of the final girls kind of start dying. Someone's picking them off, and she finds this younger final girl, and kind of takes her on this road trip, kind of takes her away from her family, and is like, someone's coming after final girls, and I'm trying to save you. And I gotta say, the twist in this book is really good, and I really enjoyed it. That's why it's a 3.5, 3 3/4, whatever. It was a really solid book. So far, it's been the only final girl book that I've really been like, I've enjoyed. I've been there for it. Again, another Grady Hendrix book, and it was really solid. Really enjoyed it. And I actually really highly recommend this. If you are kind of, on the fence as I have been with final girls, give this one a read, because I feel like Grady Hendrix does a really good job with it. So, there you have The Final Girl Support Group by Grady Hendrix. Okay, so the last one I'm going to talk about is a Stephen King that, I'm just going to say it. It's Cell. This book, it's hard for me to describe the feeling I have for this book, because this is, I think, one of the bottom 3 rated books on Goodreads for Stephen King. I think the other one is like Rose Madder, and I think the Tommy Knockers or something like that. I think those are the bottom 3. So I figured I'd read this because I like Dreamcatcher, and I gave that like 5 stars, and that was another one that was like towards the bottom 5. So I figured, why don't I read Cell? It's a little bit shorter, maybe, maybe the story will be good. Maybe I'll actually enjoy this book. And holy shit, I did not. So I kind of figured at the beginning there'd be some build up to like the whole like the pulse thing that went through and like changed everyone to these weird zombie creatures. But no, it just starts. It's just boom, there it is. No like meeting the characters, no anything like that. It's just like, yeah, this guy's on his phone, and then all of a sudden he just bashes his head in a fucking car. Just up front, just boom, there you go. So it just starts. There's no meeting a character. There's like, it's just the first part, The Pulse. The event came to be known as The Pulse at 3:03 p.m. Just starts. No like, yeah, this person is, a 40-year-old man. He works at this place. Let's talk about him for a little bit. And then this event happens. It's just, no, this event happened. We're going to talk about the characters in a minute. We're going to tell you about this weird thing that's going on. And I wasn't expecting it. That immediately dropped the book down to a low rating. Then the next chunk of the book was pretty solid. It kind of was like a zombie like survival story. And I was really enjoying it. I was all for it. It was really solid. It was working for me. A group of survivors trying to survive this horde of people who turned because of the cell phone issue. If you don't know, what happens is if you go on your phone, it sends some signal into your brain and it pretty much just turns into this weird zombie creature. What then started happening in the last 3/4 of the book was a pure crap show. It suddenly, like, there were devices inside of the creatures' heads that, like, needed to reboot. They'd have to change themselves. They'd have to do something different. Like, it got really technical when it really didn't need to. Like, just put the group of survivors, have them go to some tower, get rid of the tower, and everybody's saved. No, that's not what he did, and I absolutely hated the last 3/4 of this book. And like I said, the first like chapter, and the whole rest up until the last 3/4 where they started saying like, yeah, the creatures have to sleep, they have to reboot, this and that. I was like, all for it. It's a zombie apocalypse. It's, you know, survival. People are surviving. It's really cool. I'm into it. And then, wow, it hit a wall, and it absolutely sucked. I ended up giving this thing 2.5 stars. It did not click for me. Is it in my bottom 5 kings of all time? I'm going to say it is now. I think it knocks one of them off. Obviously, I might need to redo the list once I read the other 2 labeled bottom 3ers. But as of right now, Cell is in the bottom 5 for Stephen King books, and I really, really was hoping it would like end a lot better because it could have been something better. So there you have Cell by Stephen King. All right, guys. So these are the 4 books I read recently. They all weren't bangers, but if you do want to check them out, we'll have them linked down below. If you want to read them, you know, maybe you have a different opinion on Cell than I do, or I Am Legend. Also, let me know in the comment section, you know, what did you think about these 4 books? Or let me know some books you've read recently. Let me know in the comments down below. And also don't forget to like, comment, subscribe, and we'll see you guys in the next video. Later.